Good evening, I'm Josh Ilkman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. The NCAA Volleyball tournament got underway today, and the Huskers will play their first-round match tomorrow. Nebraska head coach John Cook addressed the media earlier today, and he was asked to compare this year's team to last year's.
I do feel like this group, we have maybe a little bit more of an edge to us than last year. Last year we were still this is kind of a fun Cinderella story, and this year there's definitely a little bit of an edge.
The Huskers will face Florida A&M tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the Devaney Center. We'll have pregame coverage with John Baylor and Lauren Cook-West beginning at 6 o'clock right here on the Huskers Radio Network. Also stay tuned for more from that press conference later in Hour 1 of Sports Nightly. One college basketball game of note tonight as number 8 Purdue is on the road against Penn State. The Nittany Lions lead 25-16 with 6.5 minutes to go in the first half of that one. And in the NFL, a fun Thursday night football matchup in the NFC North. The 9-3 Green Bay Packers are in Detroit to face the Lions. Detroit is 11-1 on the season. Kickoff coming up at 7:15 Central Time tonight. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Raiola under center. Turns, hands off Dowdell, plunges into the end zone, touchdown, Nebraska! What a drive for the Big Red! An exclamation point on what has been a wonderful first half here in Iowa City. 9-0. Big Red.
Leading the pass. Outside. Taylor Landfair. They did it! 5 Big Ten championships back to back. And they're jumping in red. Nebraska finishes 19-1 in the conference. And they shake hands in College Park, Maryland.
Here's a poke away by Hoiberg. Puts it up. Got it! Huskers have a 100-burger. 101-72 on the swipe by Sam, and the take for the lay-in.
Throws for a back cut. It's picked off. Guess who? Callan Hake picked it off. Huskers running, moving left to right. 3 in transition for Hake. You betcha. Strip, steal, score for Callan Hake.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Today kind of felt like the day after New Year's Eve. I mean, I'm sure, Jess, for you in particular, I mean, yesterday was high energy, excitement, signing day, and then you get to today and you're kind of like, I just need to take a deep breath.
Well, kind of, but we taped the first men's basketball show today, so we were.
How about that?
It was back ready to talk hoops, and men's basketball opens up Big Ten play this weekend with Michigan State, a big one there. So it was kind of like, oh, yep, no hangover for me today. I had to get right back to it, but yeah, and then also too, there's still going to be continued news trickling out over I feel like every day over the next several weeks. So. I don't know what day it is. I haven't known what day it is since before Thanksgiving because the play on Friday last week totally just messed me up all week long. So I think it was the Saturday before Wisconsin game was the last day I knew what day it was.
You talked about slow drip of news. Garrett McGuire, a lot of outlets are reporting Garrett is going to be leaving Nebraska staff, going to go join his dad out in Lubbock, and will take a role with the Texas Tech football program. And you know, I know this is hard on Coach Rural because he really becomes attached to these guys. So many of them played for him, and in Garrett's case, kind of grew up as part of the Rural family. And there's a real tight bond between Joey McGuire, Garrett's dad, and Coach Rural. But you know, to Terrence Knighton and to Tony White, I mean, this is not. And again, it's part of the deal. Everybody knows that it happens. Coaches jump around a little bit, but I'm sure this has been a tough week emotionally for the head coach, but I'm happy for Garrett, and I really think it probably is good for all parties involved.
Yeah, and you know, when you talk about right out of college, and of course he went with Coach Roll and then to Carolina and then came here, but when you have a dad that's a football coach, I think a lot of people will say it's good to go outside and kind of figure things out before you go back in. So probably a great experience for Garrett. Gained a lot of knowledge. He's a heck of a recruiter, obviously. I mean, he gets a guy like Ja'Cory Barney, to come here, and then the wide receiver group that he helped recruit this year was a big part. And I think that's why that even though there might have been some conversations going on, Coach Roll and the staff still wanted him to be a part of the signing day coverage yesterday because he was a big part of getting those guys here. And I think those are going to be some really good playmakers for this offense. So, but yeah, I think there's always going to be, I think Coach Roll and a lot of the people that are connected here will say Garrett will always be family. Like you said, he played for him, and there's a really tight bond there with Coach McGuire, Garrett's dad, and Coach Roll. And so, yeah, I think probably Garrett will say he gained a lot of great experience, and will get to probably take a lot of things that he learned and go take that to Texas Tech. But yeah, it's probably bittersweet for Coach Roll, and I think a lot of things right now are probably tough for him. Losing some of the coaches that mean a lot to him, you gain these relationships, and they played for you. But then also, I think that getting this roster size down is really, really tough on him. He mentioned it yesterday too, but just he's brought that up several times over the course of the last couple of months since we knew that this was going to happen. You knew he wasn't a fan of it, and having those conversations, I can only imagine cannot be easy for him. With him, how much he develops those relationships and how much he really cares for the guys that play for him. So I got to imagine there's several things that are weighing heavy on the head coach this week.
Now remember, Nebraska did announce, made it official yesterday, that Dukel Shorts from Kentucky is the new wide receivers coach. He played for Dana Holgersen at West Virginia, coached for Dana down at Houston, and then when Dana and that staff got let go last year, landed on the Kentucky staff under Coach Stoops in Lexington, and he might be bringing a guy or two with him from that Wildcat team. There's a couple of guys on that offensive side that have already entered the transfer portal, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Dukel Shorts now on board as Nebraska's wide receivers coach, and this cleans it up a little bit with the announcement, all the reporting about Garrett McGuire today. Jess, we really didn't get your take yesterday about your thoughts about this class. As you look at these 20 names, and you did a deep dive and talked to a handful of them, what stands out to you? What do you think are kind of some of the strengths of this class?
Well, I think immediately you go to linebacker, and I think with Dawson Merritt, he was a top recruit, the highest rated guy in this class, and he was, I know, a guy they pursued heavily, and flipped from Alabama, actually, and then even had some schools coming in late that really, really wanted him. So I think he's talking about raw potential, some really untapped potential. He was a treat to talk to. But his dad, of course, is a coach for the Kansas City Chiefs and a big-time football guy. But he didn't play tackle football until going into his freshman year of high school. So he is really still pretty new to the game. So I think he's still going to continue to grow and get better. He's hurt right now, so he's not going to be able to compete in spring football. But hopefully he gets healthy and then can get into the weight room and then hit the ground running for fall camp. But I like Christian Jones too. And you and I talked about this off air, but just being that I still have some ties to Oklahoma, my family still lives there, and the fact that Brent Venables, who is one of the great defensive minds, great defensive coordinators in the country, wanted Christian Jones so badly, I think also is kind of proves a little bit of a point about how good Christian Jones could be. But Rob Dvorak did a heck of a job, Pierce Newberry as well. So I think they brought in a really good trio of linebackers. I like the running backs. And then I think they got some playmakers at wide receiver. And it's hard to sit there and name one because you hear the coaches talk about them and you're like, I'm sold, I'm sold, I'm sold. But I think also the Petchak out of South Dakota could also be a really good get as well. So I think they got some guys, some of them maybe might take a little bit longer to develop, but I think they do have some guys that can provide some immediate help. Some of them are even going to come participate in bowl practices. coaches, which is a little crazy to think about, are going to be able to be here and at least maybe get a little bit of a taste of practice and being a part of this program. So I'm excited, and I think this group is, the coaching staff is excited. Now, talking with someone over there today, they said, it used to be this big relief. Okay, here's signing day, but now it's on to, now you've got to bring in the crop from the portal. So you got your high school group in, which is, I know they're really excited about, but they're not done yet in recruiting because now you got to go get some guys from the portal. So just the first step of bringing in the next group of Huskers. But I do like the group. I think there's several highlights. The Cortez Mills is a big get as well. But I probably got to go to linebacker. Rob Dvorak did a heck of a job building those relationships and getting some linebackers in here that I think are really going to help.
Good stuff. You mentioned Mills. Garrett was big in that, and so thank you, Garrett McGuire. If you indeed are headed to Texas Tech, thank you for securing Mills, because that was a real battle down the stretch. He even had some fun playing with the coaches on his announcement, where he kind of said he was going to OU, and then he flipped it around, and it's kind of cold. I'm glad it ended up on the right way, but I would have been stung if it would have been the other way, and he did that to Nebraska. But so yeah, I think linebackers, and obviously in the Big Ten Conference, as physical as this league is, you better be good at that spot. And you look at the elite teams in this league year in and year out, they have elite linebackers, and I think this core could be that moving down the road for the Huskers. We have a big show coming up. Yesterday, Jessica and Damon had a chance to sit down with Dana Holgersen, the Huskers' new OC, made it official this week. He'll be signed a 2-year contract with Nebraska. We'll also hear from Conor Booth. John Cook wrapped up a press conference out at the Devaney Center just a few moments ago. The NCAA tournament, as Josh mentioned in the ticker, is underway. Minnesota has already won. USC has already won. The Creighton sub-regional is going on today, so they will play later tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that scoreboard as we make our way through. The Huskers start tomorrow. They're a Friday, Saturday sub-regional, where there are some that are going tonight and tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. And hey, guess what? We have picks. I'm looking forward to this.
And 2 of us did really well last week.
Yes.
I won't drop any names just yet. But
that's a good teaser. Leave it out there.
Yeah. Someone who was pretty high on himself has dropped off the last couple weeks. The big dog, he started celebrating his victories
in October.
Yeah.
He was in October. Look at me.
You got to act like you've been here before. And Greg and I have obviously been here before. We've been winners. It takes a full season. And so he's better get it. You told me, I said this last week, you told me to pick it up a couple weeks ago. And boy, I listened, Coach. I tried to pick it up for you. So I'm doing better. You need to give the same pep talk to the big dog, because he needs to pick it up.
He ain't getting that from me. We're too close to the finish line now. There's no friends now. This is pedal to the metal to the end of the year. And the hard ones are coming up. These bowl games are going to be hard to pick.
Yeah.
We may stay away from some of the smaller ones and just kind of go with the playoff ones and maybe the Big Ten ones. Does that sound okay to you?
I'd be for that, because, this day and age, and if you're out of the playoff, there's so many guys that opt out, you just don't know, so.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know who's playing and who's not playing, and you have no idea who the guys are backing them up. It's just like, how do you pick that? It's a coin toss.
Yeah. Folks, Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with a home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. When we come back, we'll listen back to yesterday's interview with Jessica and Damon with Dana Holgersen, Nebraska's new OC. That's coming up next.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They're the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you. Thursday night edition of Sports Nightly. Yesterday was National Signing Day, and Jeff's anchored our coverage along with Damon Benning down our YouTube channel, and they had a chance to sit down with new OC Dana Holgersen. Here's that conversation.
David and I are now joined by the offensive coordinator, Dana Holgersen, newly named officially the offensive coordinator, but we're talking signing day today. Coach Holgersen, overall, just how exciting is this day for the program, welcoming in some new talent?
Well, this is a fun day. You know, across the country, it's a fun day. It has been for years and years. You know, I mean, it's. I remember back in the day that, you know, this was the first Wednesday in February, you know, and so, you know, a lot of the times we knew who we were going to sign at this point in time right now, early December, but you had to recruit them all December, and then you had to recruit them all January and waste a whole lot of money, you know, recruiting these guys. And then you sign in February, you know, and so it's just a different area, different time. And And we're excited about these guys. I don't know. I still don't know who they all are. I don't know when they're coming. I hear a lot of them are going to be here in January, which I'm excited about that.
It's interesting. A lot of fans will say, "Oh, he's a breath of fresh air." It's different, straight shooter. Is it a breath of fresh air for you too? Is it a?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I think the thing that's the most exciting about it is just the football aspect of it. I've been head coach for 13 years. And when you're head coach, you think you're like you got your hands in everything, and you're coaching like all the positions, and you're not. I mean, you're doing a whole lot of things other than coaching football. And so I think the thing that has been fun for me is just sitting in there and really coaching football and getting coaching the kids on the field and focusing on specific things as opposed to the big picture stuff. So I'm excited about doing that. And the last month has been fun, but we're just getting started here. And so it's gonna continue to elevate from here.
So on Monday comes out the announcement that you're going to stay on and be the offensive coordinator here. You came here and didn't probably know what the future was going to hold, but when you start having those conversations with Coach Rule, why did you want to stick around and be the Huskers offensive coordinator?
Well, I think that I mean, it's, we should have won 3 games when I was here. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. I'd sit back and I watched the USC game and probably had as much fun as I've had, the Wisconsin game, and then the Iowa thing, we let that get away from us, and that bothers me, and so you get in and you start coaching these guys, and there's some specific things that we could have done a little bit better, and if we would have done those things a little bit better, we would have won all 3 of those games, and so that motivates me as a competitor, it motivates me as a football coach, and we were close in those games, but it didn't happen, and that just motivates me to want to get in there and do things a little bit better, little things different, continue to get better at what we did. I do think we made some progress. For as odd of a situation as this was, for me to go into a room and not know anybody or anything, including like the calls and the offense and stuff, the way that our staff came together, the way that the players responded to it, for us to be able to be close was encouraging. Give us another month and the product should be a little bit better. Give us another year and the product will be better.
I always tell people I have a real strong affinity for Coach Rule, and his 3 qualities. He's ultra competitive, he's other-centered, and he's real self-aware. Right? He understands kind of what's going on. Sometimes you get 2 or 3 of those in a guy. What was it that kind of drew you to him and this place? Because that has to be important to you, right? You don't have to do anything. You get to do what you want to do. What drew you to Coach Rule in this program?
Well, the history of this place speaks for itself. I mean, you walk into the building and there's 5 national championship trophies sitting right there, right? So I mean, I grew up in Iowa, so I understand the history of this place and what the past has been, and I respect that. As a football coach, I respect that. And then Coach Rule is just a guy that I've admired for a long time. I mean, we've been competitors. I was at West Virginia, he was at Temple. We didn't play each other, but we were always kind of in the same area. And then him going to Baylor when I was at West Virginia, we were always in those same meetings, and I just respected what he said and how he acted and how he responded to things. We share the same agent, so we go to like different things together and stuff. And so I just know him pretty well, and the conversations have been good. We all know that's tried to get me to do it in January, and I was just like, I can't. I just got fired. And I'm like, I need a vacation or 2. I mean, I got to take a little bit of time off. I didn't think it was fair for me or my family or him or the program for me to just dive right back into it. And so the fact that he called again, I respected that. And he said, I don't know what this looks like. Let's just figure it out. And at that point, I was kind of bored. So I go, I was going to fly back to Fort Worth and do my little consulting stuff with them at TCU, and I was like, I just changed my flight. I headed to Lincoln, and here we are.
That's incredible. You had mentioned just the progress that this offense made in the couple weeks you got your hands on them. How excited are you about this group of offensive players, some of the talent that's in place here that you get to work with?
I just think it's going to change so much every year. I mean, personnel is going to change. I mean, guys are going to stay, guys are going to leave, they're going to graduate, they're going to get better, they're going to improve. It's what I said when I focused on our team for a week. I focused on USC for a week. I focused on Wisconsin for a week. I focused on Iowa for a week. And now I'm kind of taking a deep breath, and we're doing a lot of recruiting and stuff. And then next week, we'll know who the next opponent is. And I focus on that, and so, we'll have 2 to 3 weeks to be able to, do developmental practices, to be able to get our guys together and continue to practice them and see what the bowl game looks like. We need to go win this game. The fact that Nebraska hasn't been to a bowl game in 8 years or whatever it is just mind-blowing to me. It's just, I can't fathom it, and so we need to take advantage of this and go have a good performance in the bowl game, and then we'll shift to next year. But the team's going to change, how it's going to change, I don't know. We're going to probably bring in 20, 30 transfers, on visits. We're not going to take that many, but we're going to bring that many in to be able to fill the spots that we need to be able to change our team, and I look forward to that process.
Do you start, it's interesting because your Rolodex is so extensive. Do you start with things that you like to do and then see what kind of players you have, or do you kind of look and see what players you have and then thumb through where that chapter is in your book?
Yeah, the most important thing is who we got right now. You got to look at these guys and you got to figure out who they are, and you got to evaluate them and see if they basically fall into the category as they can help us win, or they can't. They're not ready yet and they can't help us win. And so, based on the amount of people that we have here that can help us, you're not bringing people in to replace guys that can help you win. You're bringing guys in to fill spots on where you need people to be able to help you win. So I'm looking forward to that process. It's already been fun to be able to evaluate guys out there. The rules are so different now.
Yeah.
They're so different than they were back 5 years ago. I know what we need on offense to help us, and I'm watching video of other kids at other programs that I got to make decisions on whether they can come in and help us. So it's just so new, it's so different, but it's exciting because it can help change your team in a year, which is what we're after.
Being that you just talked about the rosters change, everything's changed. You've coached in almost every conference, but what stays the same is your offense is successful. Why is that? Why is your system successful everywhere you go?
Well, I don't know what system we run right now. You don't really dig into it.
What you do offensively, why does it work everywhere?
Well, I just I took the offense that Nebraska was running. I started watching it, and I'm like, for a week, I told Coach, I was like, I don't know if I can call this because it's so foreign. Everything was different. Coach is like, you're learning Chinese, and so. And so for after a week, and so I just took the stuff that made sense to me. I said, we're going to do this, and the stuff that didn't make sense to me, I'm like, we're not going to do that, and so then we got into game planning, and I give all of our coaches a whole lot of credit. They each and every one of them said, here's some ideas I have to go play USC, or then Wisconsin, and then Iowa, and so I took all their ideas, and I'm like, this makes sense. We're going to do this. This doesn't. We're not going to do it. And so, at the end of the day, there's about 75 plays in a game. Sometimes it's 65, sometimes it's 80 or whatever it was. We actually ran 78 plays or 70-something against Iowa.
76 against Iowa.
I was going to go into that game thinking we were going to run about 52 just because of their ball control and stuff like that. We just played so good defensively that they just kept giving us the ball back, But, at the end of the day, it's still, 70 plays or whatever it's going to be in a game. I'm going to call the same play twice if it works, and if it works, I'm going to call it 3 or 4 times. So why do you need 150 plays on your sheet? Because you're not going to get to them. So quit putting them on the sheet because you can't practice them, and you're not going to call them all. So that's just what I did. But I don't know if I answered your question or not, but what offense, how things look and how things are. We got a lot of time to figure that out. I'm not interested in changing anything right now based on the fact that we got to play here in a couple of weeks. And so it's just got to make sense to me. It's got to make sense to the players.
Covered this league a long time, and a lot of the head coaches get accolades, but the pool of assistants, the assistant coaches, it's tough. Week in, week out, really quality staffs, and it's not often you get coaches like this of your caliber as an OC, but you're starting to kind of see a little bit of a movement with Chip and Gus and some other coaches. Do you like the fact that you just kind of get to be the mad scientist? Because it's rare to have such a high-quality offensive mind that's been a head coach as an OC or DC like that?
Yeah, I think we were talking about it earlier, but as the head man, you got to do so much stuff, man. You got to deal with donors, you got to fundraise, you got to recruit everybody. You got to recruit specialists, and then offense and defense. You got to recruit them all. You got to recruit everybody. You got to hire staff. I mean, there's an army of people in this building that Coach Rule is responsible for, and like people are always going to come and go, and so you got to replace people, you got to interview people, you got to do all kinds of media stuff. I mean, and then the last thing you want to do is go sit down for 10 hours and watch video. The day's it's too short. So the fact that I don't have to do a lot of that stuff, I just get in there and watch video is pretty cool, and it's something that I've missed and haven't been able to do the way I want to do it for 13 years, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, we're talking obviously signing day today, and portal is going to be a big part of it. And so, just in reference of today, when you're looking for offensive players and kind of who you want to build around, what are some of the attributes of those offensive players, wide receivers, running backs that you like to work with?
Well, guys that can really make plays is athletic playmakers is kind of what we're after. I don't care if that's receiver, inside receiver, outside receiver. I don't really care about the size. We're not looking for specific size and stuff like that. Bigger, faster, stronger is always better, but just guys that are good humans. Good kids, good people, hardworking guys that are intelligent, that can learn and will work hard. I think is kind of what fits what we're trying to do here. But just guys that can make some plays more than anything. And I think we got a couple of those guys signed up right now.
Moving forward, as you prepare for a bowl game, again, something that this program hasn't been able to do for a while, what are your goals for the offense? What are you hoping that the offense can achieve here before you guys play in another one this season?
Yeah, improvement. I look forward to the bowl prep stuff. That we practiced yesterday. It was a good developmental practice. The guys went out there and I was encouraged by their attitude, their effort, the way that they attacked it and prepared. Tomorrow's the same thing. Can't wait to get out there and coach these guys up. We're going to take a weekend off. I've been working 16-hour days for going on 5 weeks now since I've been here. I'm taking the weekend off and going to go see my family, and then we're back at it next week, and we'll know who the opponent is. And so we can start game planning. We can start watching who we're going to play. Figuring out where we're going to go and all that stuff. It's all fun. It's encouraging. It's a reward. I mean, bowl games used to be real rewards, and it's going to be a reward for a lot of people. But you need to attack it, and you need to game plan it like you're going to go win it. I mean, that's how you do it, and that's what we're going to do. And I look forward to it wherever we go.
Last one from me, Coach. People always talk run, pass, and ratio and whatever. I know you want to move the ball and score points. How much are you just willing, or do you have a plan in terms of however we generate points? That's going to be kind of what you want to do, or is there an emphasis for you?
It's a lot easier to hand the thing off and score.
I would agree.
No, it is. I mean, just the execution of calling the play. If you can turn and hand it and you go score. I mean, that's a lot easier than dropping back and pass sets and routes and progressions. And this is coming from me. At the end of the day, I think it's about balance. I think we've always, with whatever offense I've been involved with, which my offense has changed over the years. It used to be air raid where we throw it 90% of the time. I went ground and pound to where we were running the ball 70% of the time at West Virginia for a couple of years. So we have the ability to be able to go either way. I think you got to look at the defense as far as what they're doing. They got a plan. And so what's their plan? Identify what their plan is. If they're we're not, like Nebraska last week, I think did a really good job against Iowa. Just saying, you ain't gonna run it.
Not running the ball, yeah.
You ain't gonna run it. So we're gonna put 12 people up here, And so you got to look at what their plan is on defense, and you got to react to it. And you got to be able to have a plan to be able to attack it. It's as simple as that. If we need to throw it every down, we'll throw it every down. If we need to run it every down, we'll run it every down. I think that's how you attack that.
I said last thing, here's the last thing. How do you like having a defense that gets you the ball back that much, like you were talking about at Iowa?
Yeah, that was like, well, it didn't happen the other 2 games. But
there's that dose of reality.
Okay, but in that game, like I go to the sidelines. One, it's cold, okay, and Glenn and Dylan are sitting on the bench, and the heater's right here. I caught on fire 3 times. I was like standing there, like trying to watch the video, and like I look up and it's 3rd down. They're calling for the punt. I'm like, we're not done watching the video. Let's go. We got to go play offense again, you know. So I only watched about half the plays on the sideline because 1, I was on fire, and 2, the defense was getting the ball back for us, which is awesome, man. That's a breath of fresh air. Man.
That's incredible.
Great stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it, and best of luck as you guys keep continuing on with bowl prep.
You got it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, what a I don't even know how to describe it, but there's so many things in there, you know, so many things. But I go back to what he had said about when I asked him, why did you want to stay on? Because he didn't know, you know, I mean, he had his flights booked to go back. And he said, well, I felt like we should have won those 3 games, and it just bothers me, you know. So feels like he can do something here, which I like to hear.
He's an interesting guy, right? He's not kind of your normal cookie-cutter coach. He will say and do things. We've heard the bluntness in some of these press conferences. I like it. And he's going to have a big say moving forward. There's going to be a lot of personnel changes. We've already got Shorts hired from Kentucky to be the wide receivers coach. I'm excited. People, I think, want to know what it's going to look like. They're going to have to wait till next fall because he's going to keep it kind of what we've been doing for the bowl game. But then, boy, comes spring ball, Jess, he's going to make some major changes, I think, to the offense.
Yeah, but I think what's great about him, and he just hit on that, that's kind of what I've been saying since he's been brought on, is that he'll do what the defense gives you. You know, that's where he is. You know, he and Lincoln Riley both are really good about, okay, we're evaluating this defense. What do they want to do, and how can we exploit it? How can we cause the mismatches? He identifies those mismatches on the defense so well. And so if there's a game that, hey, we think we could throw it all over the place and score a bunch of points that way, then that's how we'll do it. If we can ground and pound it, I think his style of offense, you know, yes, it started out as the air raid, but it has evolved. And I think he can, whatever is needed to move the ball in any given situation and against certain defenses, he can do that, and he can get his players in the spots to do that. And so I don't think it will be, there's going to be I think we've got a glimpse of it, of just, you know, how quickly he can call the plays. And we've gotten a taste of maybe what he can do, but I think you're right. I mean, it's specifically what his offense looks like. We probably won't know a whole lot until next fall, but I think it will also tailor to what is needed in any given game and what the matchup looks like in any given game.
All of the coverage yesterday brought to you by Woodhouse. They have been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Hey, the NCAA volleyball tournament is underway. Huskers don't play till tomorrow, but John Cook held a pre-tournament press conference a couple of hours ago. We'll play some of the highlights of that coming up next.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable defense with no way through. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final whistle. Reach out, speak up, and let's tackle this together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than a team. We're family. Remember, in times of need, call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even then load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota Fun, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
We're back on a Thursday Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. Hope you had a great day today. Ooh, it was chilly out there today, but at least the wind laid down a little bit. I'm imagining these Florida schools coming to Lincoln. Miami is here for the volleyball regional. Florida State is up the road in Omaha. Those young ladies got to be getting off their bus going, what? Are you going to be kidding me? 22 degrees? It could be a culture shock to those young ladies playing in the NCAA tournament. And the Huskers play a Florida team, the Rattlers of Florida A&M. John Cook met with the media as detailed by the NCAA. You have to go have these mandatory press conferences the day before the tournament begins, and he talks about tomorrow night's opponent for the Big Red.
They've got athletes. They're coaches from Turkey, so they play an international kind of style of volleyball. They set one player really, really fast, probably the fastest tempo we've seen all year, a left side hitter. And they're running a 6-2, which a lot of teams do, and they run players all over. So they're probably not as refined as a lot of the Big Ten teams because they're running all these patterns and everything. So, but to do that, you got to pass. So the key for us will be, can we serve them and get them out of system all the time and take all that away?
It's part of the NCAA tournament, right? Which it's, I guess, it experienced a little bit of the Big Ten, but you've got different teams that you're preparing for night in and night out. Talking with Lindsey Peterson this week on The Dig, she felt like the schedule with so many back-to-backs that the Huskers have had, even including the last weekend of the Big Ten season, they had to play two teams that were totally different back-to-back. So something that this team is ready for, they prepared for just with what they've had to deal with in their regular season schedule. So, hey, it's here. And I think this team is ready for a new season.
It's a good segue into the next cut, and that is, what is preparation like during the NCAA tournament? Is it different than the regular season?
Well, the great thing is when you're at home, we get to stay in our rhythm. So this was a normal week for us, playing a Big Ten week that we were playing on a Friday, Saturday, which we had a couple of those. So we're prepared for this. We know what it is. We know what it's like to go back-to-back. And for us, that's the beautiful thing about being at home. You know, I'm hearing stories about all these charter problems and airline problems, and just think about you're trying to go and there's matches already started today. Just think about those teams trying to, get to that school and play today. So it's routine for us, and we love routine.
Yeah, just so important. I mean, you and I talked about this when the seeding came out. What's most important at this point for these teams is to be able to be at home, especially for the Huskers. Just a huge advantage to be able to just, do what you do, practice where you practice. I mean, you do have to cater a little bit to the other teams, and there are certain things with the NCAA that they monitor. You can't have more of an advantage, and they won't have Nebraska stuff on the big screens. But it is just, there's so much of an advantage, and to not have to worry about travel just takes it out of you. Greg, I saw this TikTok, I believe it might have been South Dakota, that they had a team, they before there's this TikTok where it's like, I'm so-and-so, and I think we're going here, but I want to go here. And so many of their players said, I hope we go to Nebraska, but I think we're going somewhere else. So it's kind of crazy that even you probably are going to come and lose, for those teams. I mean, you never believe that, but, it'd be a tall order, but that they want to come play here because of the atmosphere here.
South Dakota is in the Creighton sub-regional. In fact, they play the Blue Jays later tonight, and South Dakota State is here. They've got Miami tomorrow in the first match at the Devaney Center. And what a perfect segue, because the South Dakota member of the Husker volleyball team is Bergen Riley, and she talked at the presser today about playing with an edge at this time of the year.
Yeah, I think just like you said, last year was almost like a magical ride, a Cinderella story. We have all these young girls, whatever, so we didn't really know what to expect. And this year we're kind of coming back, and we're trying not to necessarily compare it to last year, but we also have an edge from last year, and we know that we didn't finish the season on top like we wanted to. So I'd say there's definitely just a little bit of that, like we want to get back to the national championship and we want to have a different outcome this year, but also not necessarily like letting last year get to us either.
Lindsay said that, obviously there's a little bit of pressure because of the expectations that come along with having been there and been right there. And hey, there's a lot of people expecting the Huskers. I saw at ESPN on their bracketology that it was overwhelming how many people picked the Huskers to win the national title in their brackets this year, which is different than what it was last year. But that being said, even though there was this unknown kind of magical ride last year, this team is better than they were last year. I mean, you look at the statistics and what they've done, and you could say that they are improved because they have that experience from last year. So I think, in this case, they know what to expect and they know how to move on from the next. And I think that how they respond in points, to me, and that's what Lindsay also hit on, is when things are not going their way in certain matches, they don't let it continue to linger. They're able to close that and move on to the next point, and it's 1 point at a time. And so I think there's some maturity that will bode well for this team in this run. That yes, I think there's both positives both ways, where you don't know and you're just, hey, we're just here riding this wave, and we just kind of maybe the naivety. What is it? Being kind of naive to the situation, kind of not really understanding the how big it is, but now they do, and they're just there's some maturity, I think, and there's a lot of the players are better, even more improved. Andy Jackson, Harper Murray, Bergen Riley are all better players than they were a year ago.
I agree with you. Let's see if the coach does. He was asked, do you think this team is better than last year?
I never feel it, just because focus on point by point, but that's why we do stats and everything. And this team's playing at the highest level of any team I've coached statistically, and our competition is better than it's ever been. So this group's shown that they can play at a really high level, and it's in every area, and how we evaluate and take stats. So they've done a tremendous job. I mean, you look at our serving, passing. Again, we're number one in the Big Ten in opponent efficiency, and I explained to them, okay, let's say you're in the SWAC conference, Okay, it might be pretty easy to have a great defensive team there. Look who we're going against. I mean, we're going against first-team All-Americans almost every week and every night All-Americans. And to do that is really, really tough. And so I just think, and we went through a Big Ten season up until the last weekend. We only lost 5 sets, which if you told me that at the beginning of the year, I would say no way. I mean, I was saying we'd have to have the team of the century to go undefeated. And so they've proven it. And now it's a new season, but everybody's 0-0. And like Andy said, the game forgets, and we've got to go out and prove it every night, every point.
I swear I didn't hear him say that. I did not listen to the press conference today, but that's unbelievable. I mean, it's still just even hearing some of that. You were going, wow, multiple times when he's bringing that up.
5 sets is all they lost in conference play.
Yeah.
I mean, God. Oh, my. Good stuff. And well represented on the all-conference teams, which came out yesterday. Bergen, the setter of the year. Lexi, the libero of the year. All well-deserved. And, to the victors go the spoils. This team, these individuals on this team, they deserve that recognition that they are getting. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, first serve, Florida A&M, JB Lauren take the air at 6 with pregame. That match preceded by South Dakota State and Miami. Need to work our final break in. We're back to wrap up hour 1 next.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun.
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat modes. Goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
We're back. Final few minutes of hour 1. Sports Nightly here on a Thursday night. No show tomorrow because of volleyball. Huskers taking on the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Jess, I'm glad we have a couple of minutes here at the end of this hour. I do want to mention Mark Manning's wrestling team out in Vegas for the Cliff Keen Invitational. 2-day tournament, 31 programs. There are half of the top 10 teams are there. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, South Dakota State, Michigan, and Nebraska. So you have 5 of the top 10 teams in the country there. Ridge Lovett won the individual title last year, 149. He is back to defend. I think this is a tremendous team that Mark Manning has put together, and I cannot wait to follow them here in the coming months.
Yeah, and this is always big, this Cliff Keen Invitational, because a lot of the top wrestlers go there. I mean, Ridge always says it's one of his favorite places to wrestle, and so, yeah, this is a big opportunity here, and it's a good group for sure. So once we get through volleyball and football, it seems like we talk a lot more about wrestling, and this is going to be a group that we're talking about potential national title hopes. So I think this is a group that could very well get it done for Coach Manning this year.
They will have a triangular on next Friday, the 20th, at the Devaney Center. It's Augustana and UNK. Not the best of opponents, and Mark may even wrestle off a little bit, let some of the younger guys get to wrestle for that. And then it gets real. You get back from Christmas, and it's into the Big Ten. Penn State's coming. Iowa, is going to be fantastic as always. So it gets real once you flip the calendar to 2025. But off to a really good start are the Huskers at number 3 in the country right now through the first month of the season. We have not forgotten about you, Coach. We love covering your program. We'll be all over it come January. Fun first hour. When we come back next hour, Conor Booth, one of the running backs in this new Husker class, and picks. We got picks coming your way in hour 2.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Good evening, I'm Josh Helkman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. The NCAA volleyball tournament began today, and the Huskers will play their first-round match tomorrow. Nebraska head coach John Cook addressed the media earlier today and was asked to compare this year's team to last year's.
I do feel like this group, we have maybe a little bit more of an edge to us than last year. Last year, we're still this is kind of a fun Cinderella story, and this year there's definitely a little bit of an edge.
The Huskers will face Florida A&M tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the Devaney Center. We'll have pregame coverage with John Baylor and Lauren Cook West beginning at 6 o'clock right here on the Huskers Radio Network. One college basketball game of note tonight, number 8 Purdue on the road against Penn State, and it's all Nittany Lions. They lead 60-36, 11 minutes to go in the second half of that game. And in the NFL, just about to kick off between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. The Packers enter with a 9-3 record, and Detroit is 11-1 on the season. Kickoff coming up in about 10 minutes. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
First pitch to Evans. Cole swings and hits one in the air to center. That's hit pretty well. Matheson going back to the wall. That ball is gone. Cole Evans is the hero on senior night. A walk-off 3-run homer by Cole Evans. And it's about to be party time in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Overbeat, deep to right field, way back and way out of here. It's off the light pole in right field. A solo shot for Joshua Overbeat, and it's 10-2 Huskers.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are, Sports Nightly, final show of the week for us. So this is our final hour. We'll have volleyball tomorrow night, as Josh mentioned in the ticker. As the tournament gets underway for the Big Red, there are several sub-regionals going today. Not quite as many as there will be tomorrow, but ESPN Plus has the coverage today. They've got what they call the fifth set coverage, which they're hopping around to different close finishes. Pretty good little production. They do that with some of the other sports, the ball bat sports. They kind of do some of that where they'll jump around and pick up some different matches toward the end, or a big set that's coming down the stretch. So good stuff from ESPN covering the NCAA volleyball tournament. And I believe, Jessica, I think is the national championship game again on ABC this year. Am I
I think so.
making that up?
I believe so, yeah.
Right. And that's a big move to get on the network TV for the volleyball championship. It happened last year, and obviously the result of the match didn't feel so good for the Huskers, but we were there, we were in it, and hope to be in it again this year. Louisville is the destination for the Final Four. Got a good hour coming up here. Conor Booth, we're going to hear from him. He's a young man from Wahoo who had a heck of a year, has a heck of a high school career, and excited to be a Cornhusker. So is E.J. Barthel, who will be his running backs coach for the Big Red. We'll also bring the big dog into the conversation. We'll make some Choices Treatment Center picks for the week and see how we did last week, the last week of the regular season, and now conference championship weekend with some terrific matchups. A lot of tight lines. In the SEC with Texas, Georgia, the Big Ten line with Penn State, Oregon is narrow. Arizona State and Iowa State's a narrow one as well. And so it's going to be a fun weekend for college football. Some of those championship games are tomorrow night. I know the Mountain West is tomorrow night to get that weekend underway. That's Boise and UNLV, a rematch there. But Jessica, early in the week, had a chance to catch up with some of these young men who were going to be signing national letters of intent with the Cornhuskers, and one of those is Conor Booth. Let's listen in on that conversation.
We welcome in another one of the new Huskers joining the Nebraska football program, signing the official letter of intent on National Signing Day. Conor Booth, the absolute star out of Wahoo, Nebraska, Bishop Neumann High School. Conor, thank you so much for being here with us. Congratulations. How does it feel to officially be a Husker?
It feels great. Yeah, this is a once in a lifetime and a dream for sure. So.
Well, you just got a chance to play on the field you're going to be playing on when you played in the state championship. How did that feel, running out there and getting to maybe get a little taste of what it's going to be like on Saturdays?
Yeah, it felt pretty surreal. Obviously, doing that with my buddies I've been playing with for a long time, it was everything I could ask for. That's great.
Well, you're going to planning on playing both baseball and football here for the Huskers. How did those conversations go when you start your recruiting process and wanting to make sure that you had the ability and the opportunity to be able to play both sports?
Yeah, so it was one of those things where obviously I got the scholarship to play football, and I played baseball my whole life. I did travel baseball and all that stuff. So I was in contact with the baseball coaches for a while. And once I kind of got that offer, I was open with the coaches about, like if I got the opportunity to play both, I'd be really interested in playing both. And obviously I was just really open with Coach Rule about everything, and he said he would make it work, so we're going to make it happen.
That's great. Why was that important for you to be able to do both and not just pick one?
I think it's just the option. I feel like it's just like, especially at the time, it just seemed like a dream for sure. Like being able, I feel like it's just pretty cool to say like I was able to play both sports at a collegiate level. So yeah, that's obviously the goal right now, and hopefully everything sticks through.
Well, what a senior season you had. I mean, just unbelievable, the numbers that you put up. Nearly 3,000 rushing yards, 50 touchdowns, one of the top in the nation, not just in Nebraska, but in the entire country in high school football. How would you describe the last few months that you just had as a football player?
It's been crazy for sure. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, obviously, but like, being able to play with the team that I had, it was a blessing. I had a great O-line this year that blocked really well for me. I had great coaches that came up with great schemes that put me in the best positions possible. So I couldn't be more thankful for them.
Just the ability to do what you did. I mean, what went into that for you to be able to have those kinds of games night in and night out, to where you're doing something that everybody's trying to stop you from doing?
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of work in the off season, the preparation before the game, and then obviously, you got to take it day by day. So it's one of those things where every day in practice, you can't take a rep for granted. So that obviously, you practice how you play. So it's kind of one of those things where that's my mindset when I go into practice. So that's how I play.
You set all kinds of records over the past year, but one of those, you scored 8 touchdowns in a game. What did that feel like when you kept getting into the end zone over and over again, 8 different times?
Yeah, that game was pretty crazy. Malcolm was a really good team, so that was one of those things where it was more shocking, I guess you could say. But like I said, like my O-line blocked great, and as a running back, you just got to make a few guys miss. And yeah, it was definitely a really cool experience to be able to get in the end zone 8 times in one game.
You're obviously a team guy, but how does it feel to have your name at the top of the Nebraska high school record books?
Oh, it's nice for sure. It's something that I'll be able to look back on hopefully in 30 years and still be at the top of that line. So I'm pretty blessed about that.
I think it'd be pretty hard for very many people to catch those numbers.
Yeah.
You play at a smaller school. What what went into that for you to be able to be recruited, to be seen, and what did it mean to you, I guess, when that offer came in from Nebraska that they believed in you despite playing at the smaller school?
No doubt. Yeah, it meant everything. Playing at a small school, obviously there's going to be doubts because of like competition or whatever you want to say. But yeah, you kind of just got to block those out a little bit, I guess, in a way. I went to the camp, performed really well, and then obviously, my Coach Roberts, he believed in me, my high school coach, and obviously Coach EJ and all those guys down to the staff in Nebraska. They believed in me and what I could do. So obviously it's just one of those things where they have a lot of belief in me, and I don't take that for granted. So.
How did that feel? I'm sure were there times that maybe you thought, am I going to be able to get seen and get the offers at this level? So how did it feel, I guess, when that came in and that dream came true?
No doubt. Like, it's one of those things, like, you definitely do. There's definitely a doubt in your mind, coming from a smaller place. But it's one of those things, like, when it does happen, like, when it did, it's, like, definitely a surreal feeling. It's like something you dream about your whole life. And then when it happens, it's pretty cool.
So what would be your message to those small school kids that have been told you're not going to be able to get recruited?
Obviously, it's a lot of hard work, dedication, what you want. If you want it, you got to go get it. And obviously, show to the camps, you got to get seen. So it's one of those things where not all the time that I could come see you. You got to go out there, you got to perform, obviously, on the football field, and, got to go to the camps and stuff like that. So,
how special is it for you to be joining some of the best high school kids in the state of Nebraska? Coach Rule has said that that's going to be important for them to lock in this state. And so some of the best talent in the state coming home. How special is that for you to be a part of that?
No, it's blessed. It's a really good group of guys, so I'm excited for sure. I'm excited to get better with them, and it's going to be a fun ride. So.
Well, I think for most people that followed your high school career, they know you played a little bit banged up there in the state championship. How are you feeling? How's the injury going?
It's going good. Obviously, it's just one of those things getting better by the day. It's nothing like I didn't do it worse, my knee or my ankle. It's one of those things like it's kind of just like the same thing. Obviously, you just play through pain. It's football, so you kind of just dealt with that. But, yeah, I'm just taking recovery day by day, and I'm getting better. So
you're going to be enrolling in January and maybe play some baseball here this spring as well. But what's the goal? What are the goals for you to come in here and do what you need to do to maybe be able to earn some early playing time?
Obviously, I just think it's one of those things where you kind of just block out the noise, keep your head down. I believe in what, I trust the coaches and what they, what they, like, I guess what they say and what they, I believe everything that they say, they come true. So, like, it's one of those things, yeah, like I said, just keep your head down and, yeah, whatever happens, happens. So, yeah, I'm excited.
A lot of people have seen your highlights, but for those that haven't, some Husker fans that have not, how would you describe your running style?
A little bit powerful. I got speed. I can do a little bit of everything. So y'all should go check it out. So
I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to close it out with a couple fun questions. You in?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
Okay. All right, we just had Thanksgiving. We've got Christmas coming up, other holidays. What's your favorite holiday meal side dish?
Man, that's tough. I have to go. My mom makes some really good green bean casserole. I know it's not like everyone's favorite, but however my mom does it, it's really good. So.
Okay, you're the first green bean casserole guy I've had.
Yep.
Best sports movie?
Remember the Titans.
That's a popular one. That's a popular one. All right, favorite candy?
Watermelon Sour Patch Kids.
Okay, like it. I like it. Favorite subject in school that's not athletics?
That's a tough one. Let's go with like social studies.
Okay. All right. Who was your favorite athlete growing up?
I'd probably just say growing up watching either Rex Burkhead or Amir Abdullah.
Oh, that's great. A couple of Huskers.
Yep.
Best form of potato. So mashed, French fries, baked, sweet, hash browns. Mashed?
Yep.
No hesitation there. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. Congratulations, and can't wait to see you here on campus here in a few weeks.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Always fun, always fun. Greg, we recorded, I think, 9 or 10 of these interviews, and these are high school seniors, and Josh and I, after every one, were just so impressed with just how these guys conduct themselves in these interviews. And I know it's different because they probably get interviewed a lot, but they were just impressive, and Connor's certainly one of them.
Really good stuff, and you can see their personalities come out. And we kind of focus in a lot of ways with the young men from the state of Nebraska, and we're going to kind of fill through these over the next week or two. But I enjoyed his conversation. He was really specific about his candy, didn't hesitate on that at all. Had a little harder time picking out that side dish for Thanksgiving, but you're hitting them from out in left field. They don't know what's coming their way. I thought he handled it pretty well.
I don't give them any time to prepare for those questions.
No.
And I think you can kind of get to know them a little bit. And you said it while we were listening. You're either in or out on green bean casserole. Yeah. And I think we're all in. It was funny because Dawson Merritt said he could not believe anybody picked anything other than French fries on their potatoes. But
what?
I had some hash browns. I had some French fries. So yeah, it was fun. I feel like you could always kind of get to know them a little bit when you throw them some of those curveball questions. I stole a lot of them. The Chiefs actually do these kinds of questions when a lot of times it's during fall camp and it's just like the question of the day. And so you could hear some funny answers. So I tried to gather some of the questions I stole from the Chiefs, but I always enjoy doing that kind of stuff. Probably not everybody likes to hearing that, but I always do.
Oh, fun stuff to get that there. We take ourselves too seriously. We got to remember we're in the sports department here in this thing. We're kind of the toy department of life is what sports kind of is. Good stuff there. Again, all of our coverage yesterday on the stream was brought to you by Woodhouse. They've been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. So go shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Ready to do some picks? Feeling good about last week?
I am. Maybe not everybody is, but I am.
I do too. Feel pretty good about it. So we'll go find the big dog, bring him into the conversation, and we'll make some of our Choices Treatment Center picks for Conference Championship weekend. And then we'll update the chat room and how those guys have done the last week or two. We'll do that coming up next.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It is sponsored by
Akrs.
Yeah, there we go. The Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. He's really good at that, Jess.
He is. He really gives some oomph to the Akrs. You know, he just, once he got it right, boy, he's rolling.
Hey, it all started this summer when I got to come in and hang out with the crew, and I just was like, Jess, let me do some ad reads. And then I heard Camden do the ticker one time, and I was like, Camden, I got to do that once. I got to do the ticker.
And then he did it once, and he's like, I'm done.
And I did it once. I was like, that's good. That's plenty.
Josh, we got to see if maybe Akrs wants to use Jeremiah to do their spots.
I think so. That's a good idea. Do some VO.
Sign me up. Solutions for every field, baby.
I love it.
Love it.
Maybe you could get a what is it that they were helping? Maybe was it like a golf cart or something?
Yeah.
For was it Trev? Maybe
when I didn't get to take advantage of that IL.
A snowblower, wasn't it, or a tractor to snowblower?
Oh yeah. A snowplow maybe or something.
Yep.
So maybe you could get.
The best I got was bagels at the landing without cream cheese. We weren't allowed to have cream cheese or peanut butter, but we could have bagels.
And you couldn't put it on with spoons.
Nope. I remember those were the lean days, the lean years.
And didn't you miss Val's when they brought it in for your sideline slice one week?
I did. I was here for one, missed one.
Yeah.
But I love the Val's.
Well, let's review last week's games. Minnesota at Wisconsin for the Akrs. Everybody went with the Gophs. We all got it right.
Good team. Good team.
Notre Dame at USC. Nobody was biting on an upset there. Shouldn't have been the Irish win. We go 5-0 in that game as well.
That game was closer than we thought, though. I mean, USC was driving down there to score to tie it when they threw the pick six, and then it was over from there. But USC, they hung in there for about 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
They did. Kind of the story of their season. Close,
no kidding.
A lot of close losses. All right, here's where we get a little dicey. Rutgers, Michigan State. Jess, you and I, Josh, all picked the Scarlet Knights. The students and the big dog went with Sparty and come up short.
Well, I mean, Michigan State's been one of those teams. One day they look like world beaters, and the next they look like they can't beat anybody. So I was just not ready to take a chance on that. And Rutgers has looked solid the last couple weeks. They went down for a little bit, and then they figured some stuff out. So I went with the more of a sure bet, I guess. But I wouldn't have been surprised if Michigan State pulled one out either, though.
Jeremiah, isn't that a sign of a pretty good coach that because their season got into the ditch, and he did, as Jess mentioned, they kind of dug it out and played pretty good football at the end of the year. Yeah,
I mean, they definitely hit that midseason lull kind of right after they played Nebraska. Yeah, right after they played Nebraska, and testament to them of just keep fighting and keep going. And I do think Michigan State's on the rise, though. I like what they did this year. I think they're going to be much improved going into year two of that new coach.
All right, Clemson, South Carolina. The Gamecocks win it. Jess, you and Jeremiah, we all got it right. Josh, you went Clemson and came up short with the students.
I did. There was a couple in here that I maybe should have gone the other way. This one I didn't feel too bad about. I was fine picking this one. It was a close game, so not sad about that one.
We all picked the Missouri Tigers to beat Arkansas. Tight game, snowy game, kind of fun to watch. So yay team, we all got that right. Iowa State, K-State. Josh, you and the students, like the Clemson game, went with the team that did not win. The Wildcats let you down.
And this one, I think I was trying to be a little bit too clever. I don't know what my thinking was exactly, but I felt like maybe the group was going to go with Iowa State, and maybe I could pick up a point, but didn't work out.
Rolled the dice.
I just feel like Kansas State, for as much as they are physical and they have been historically or run the football, they've thrown it a little bit more. And in a cold game, that's why I went with Iowa State. This picking Iowa State, that's going to be interesting though this week, because they're not just they're not the most you watch them and the flashiest, like that's a really good college football playoff team, but then they just keep winning. They quietly keep winning. They've won 10 wins for the first time this season, and I don't know if they're getting enough credit for it. They just don't win pretty all the time.
They could be the first Big 12 playoff team, which is crazy to think about, that Iowa State is going to be the one that emerges from there to go to the playoffs.
How about that? Texas A&M, everybody went with the Longhorns and got it right, except the big dog.
I know. I went upstream here. I bet on the home team. I bet on Kyle Field, but Texas was on one, and they went out there and they let them have it from the rip.
Sure did. All right, man, Kansas, Baylor. We all went Jayhawks. Rock Chalk let us down. Baylor wins. We go 0-for-5 in that thing.
We were believing in what Kansas had done. We don't remember things very well, I guess, how things were early. We just look, we have a recency bias, so we all jumped in on the Kansas bandwagon a little too soon, I think.
Was there a more inconsistent team in college football than Kansas?
I don't know.
When they were good, they were good.
Right. I mean, it was either all or nothing.
Or 2 weeks
Easter
ago.
famine.
They were good.
All right, West Virginia at Texas Tech. West Virginia has since fired their coach. Everybody but Josh went with Texas Tech. Josh, again, you tried to pick one up on the field.
Well,
did not work.
And if you remember back to last week, so here's what happened. Everybody else had made their pick and had gone with Texas Tech. And I was like, well, this should be a close game, right? There's a chance West Virginia wins. Why are we all picking one way? Here's a chance to pick one up. So I decided to change it midstream and didn't work out at all. It was a block. I was watching that score closely, and then at a certain point I was like, nope, this one's done.
Remind me not to go to Vegas with you, Josh.
Yeah, no, you should always stay consistent. If I had been the first one to pick that game, I would have been fine, but nope.
Oklahoma at LSU. Everybody went the Bayou Tigers except the students, so they dropped there. So last week, and I wasn't here for the show last week, and I find it a little who ran the segment last week?
I don't know if I could call it running it. Everybody had to chip in.
It was a group effort.
Because all of my picks, you picked.
I did not even
shenanigans going on here.
I did not even notice that until. So what's funny is I could not remember because that's hard. You do a good job, and that's it. Josh and I were talking afterwards because I was trying to type as we went, so I was not even paying attention, and I had to go back after we got back from Iowa to see what I picked because I couldn't remember, and I pulled up like, oh my goodness, Greg and I had the exact same picks. I did not even know that till I had to go back and remember who I picked.
Hey, the good news about radio, you can always go back and check the tape, Greg. No cheating here. No Conor Stallions here.
Tape don't lie. All right, so Jess and I go 9-1. How about that for the week?
Good
Jeremiah,
job.
7-3. Well done. Josh, 6-4. And the students have come back to the pack. They go 5-5.
So hopefully Duke is picking every week now.
Yeah, we need
David
Duke
this week.
Okay.
He's picking this week. So the students have 96-53, a 2-game lead over you, Jess, 3-game lead over me, 4-game lead over Jeremiah, and a 6-game lead over Josh. Josh, you need to bounce back.
I need to, yes, definitely.
All right, let's get into this week's Choices Treatment Center picks for the week. We'll start with the Big Ten, Indianapolis. Plenty of seats available for this game. If you want to go to Indy and go watch, I think StubHub showing $12 tickets, something like that.
It was by far the cheapest ticket of any of the championship games.
Wow.
So
the Ducks favored by 3.5 in this game. Jeremiah, I don't think they've gotten enough credit nationally coming into a new league, winning the league, undefeated season.
with a new coach.
It's just unbelievable what they have done. These are the kind of games that Penn State doesn't win. That trend continues. Give me the Ducks.
You know, I have been a big
You're a Nittany girl.
I've been a big Penn State girly since the start of this, but I can't go with them this week. I think I've got to go with Oregon. I think they try to make a statement in this one, and you know, they got a chance to lock up a bye in the first round, so I'm going to go with Oregon, and I think they make a statement to the college football world in this one.
So with the profession that I have, I get a chance to take a peek at the old NFL grades every now and then. They have 13 players with draftable grades on that Oregon football team. Reminds me a little bit of the Michigan football team from last year.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Ducks again. Too much firepower for Nittany.
Well, apparently I'm going to go against everything that I just started saying about being consistent. I'm going to start chasing points right out of the gate. This is a close line, as are most of the games this week. So I'm going to try to make one up here. I don't like cheering for Penn State at all, but I'm going to in this one. This one seemed like one that maybe would be a possibility.
They'll have a huge crowd advantage because most of the people that will be there will be wearing Nittany Lion covers. The students are with Oregon, so Josh, yep, you are swimming upstream. Let's go to the SEC, Jess. Texas, Georgia, this is a rematch. Texas, even though they got thumped in the opening game in Austin, they're 2.5-point favorites.
What quarterback's playing? I know that's what Searles is going to want to know for Texas, but I don't care. I'm going with Georgia, even though they barely squeaked one by. And how many overtimes did it end up being? Six?
Not 8. I think it was 8.
Yeah, it was one away from the record. I still think they get it done. I think Carson Beck is playing better than even when they beat Texas the first time. And I know this is a battle of Searles' 2 favorite quarterbacks in college football. So I'm going to go. I still think Georgia gets it done. They've been in this situation. I don't know. I can't pick Texas. I cannot hook them this week.
This was the hardest pick of the week for me because Jess is right. I don't trust Quinn Ewers. I don't trust Carson Beck. I think Archie Manning's the best quarterback on either one of those teams right now. I'm going to go with Texas, though. I'm going to take Texas. I think they want to prove something here. They've had kind of some skids in here, and I still think that their defense is going to give Carson Beck a lot of fits. So give me hook 'em.
Yeah, I think that both of these teams are way different than they were when they played earlier this season. Georgia has just been inconsistent lately, especially on offense, and I don't like their offense against Texas defense. The Longhorns have been really locking things up on that side of the ball. So I'm going to go with Texas in this one.
Students are there as well. I've gone back and forth throughout the week. Georgia, again, the game's in Atlanta. They're going to have a lot more fans in the stands. There'll be some burnt orange sprinkled in there. But in the back of their mind, Texas has to remember that thumping they took from them just 2 months ago. I'll go with Jess. I'll go Georgia. We're a house divided in the SEC game. All right, let's go to Big 12. Jeremiah, Arizona State, again, kind of remarkable first year in the league. They are a 2-point favorite over the Cyclones who we talked about earlier in the segment. How about this one?
This is crazy to me. I mean, I love what that coach has done down at Arizona State, the fire that he's brought. The way he's fought for his teams at the press conferences and everything. I mean, the way he had to get everyone off the field against BYU and the whole bit there. But I'm gonna go with the steady Eddie team here. I'm gonna take the underdogs, and I'm gonna say Iowa State punches their ticket to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be kind of a grinded out game, close the whole way. Iowa State, I would not be shocked at all if they win this one, but I think Arizona State's just kind of riding a lot of momentum right now. I mean, both teams are in some ways, but Arizona State has been kind of a magical season for them. So I'm going to say they keep that ride going. Give me ASU.
Okay. Students are Iowa State. Josh, you laid out a great case for Arizona State. I love Leavitt, the quarterback. Liked him at Michigan State a year ago. Glad that he got out of the Big Ten. And that big old back for Arizona State, they ride him up and down the field. I'm going Sun Devils. Forks up. Is it forks up, forks down, whatever it is? Give me ASU.
I got to agree with you guys just because Iowa State has typically been a really salty defense, but if you look at they've given up quite a bit of points, and Arizona State can score. So if we're going to get into a shootout, I'm going to go with Arizona State. I think, as Josh pointed out, they got a lot of momentum right now. They got a lot of belief. So I'm going to go with Arizona State. I would like. And my heart wants to go with Iowa State because I think this is a team that deserves to be in the college football playoff. Just they've battled and grinded, and nobody give them much credit. But I'm going to go with Arizona State. I think they're going to win this game, find a way to win it.
Love it. Little house divided. Okay, let's go to the ACC. SMU, much like Oregon, much like Texas, to be able to come into a league in the first year and fight your way to the title game is really impressive. The Ponies are 2.5-point favorites over Dabo's team. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, it's another situation where I just feel like SMU is playing so well right now. Like their lone loss of the season came all the way back in their third game. So
to BYU?
To BYU, yeah. And again, a lot of things change over that time. I feel like they've become a very consistent team. They have a high-flying offense. And I just don't – I don't have 100% trust in Clemson right now. I think they're a solid team, but I'm going to go with the Ponies. Give me SMU.
Students agree with you. I do as well. I just think they're playing at a higher level than Dabo's team is. Dabo got lucky a few weeks ago in that Pitt game, the way that thing ended late to kind of get a win there. I just don't like – they're just too up and down for me. SMU, to me, has been solid. Like the Ponies, year one in the ACC, come out of there as the champs.
Yeah, I've been with SMU all year. I've picked them every time we've had them on these picks, and they've always gotten me a point. So I'm going to stick with them. Also, I think it's hard sometimes you doubt maybe because you think of the Clemson of old, but they have not been the Clemson of old in several years. So I don't have as much confidence in them in this situation as maybe I would in the past. You lean towards maybe some history and tradition. A lot of those players haven't even been a part of those teams. So I'm going to go with SMU. I think they continue to keep it rolling.
Yeah, DJ Doodoo broke Clemson. Ever since then, it's not been the same. So I'm going to go SMU as well.
Wow. I thought somebody might go out there and take Clemson in this game. All right, let's go. Is this a Sun Belt? Marshall at Louisiana. Boy, the Raging Cajuns are favored by 6. They are a scoring machine. They've topped 50 points several times this year. This will be a shootout game. I think the over-under is 58 or something like that. A lot of points. This will be an entertaining game to watch. Give me the Cajuns. Raging Cajuns for me.
Marshall's been a Cinderella story, right? I mean, they've been one of the great stories all year. They've fought through a lot, but I can't pick them in this one. And I haven't seen either team play a second of football, but I'm going to go with Louisiana.
Yeah, I've actually watched them, Louisiana. I was recruiting a center there for a little while, and their offense is electric. I think it's a ton of fun, so I'm going to go with the Cajuns as well.
I'm with Jess. I haven't watched either of these teams very much, but in a great matchup of mascot names, I'm going to go with the Raging Cajuns.
All right. And the students say not so fast. They're taking Marshall. All right. Nice little shake-up right there for us. All right, Jess, let's go to the MAC. Ohio against Miami of Ohio. The Red Hawks, a 1.5-point favorite in this one.
I don't even have a clue on this one. I don't know. I'm just going to go with Ohio. I have no idea why. No idea. I have no reasoning.
All right.
Just throwing it out there. How about Ohio?
It's the Bobcats, right?
Yes, sir.
Ohio Bobcats. I'm going to go with the home team. Give me the Miamis of Ohio.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Bobcats. And you know, Frank Stolich was coach there for a long time. Former Nebraska assistant Tim Albin is their head coach. Now he took over in 2021. He started off with a rough season, but he's got them right back on track, winning 9-10 games every year. So I'm going to go with that connection, go with Ohio.
Yeah, students are Ohio, and I am too. I just think that it's a program that's used to these games more so than Miami of Ohio is. So even though Miami's favored by 1.5, I'm going with the own underdog in this one, and Ohio. All right, let's go, Jeremiah. Tulane at Army. A little luster has been taken off this game. Army stumbled a couple times down the stretch. The Green Wave favored by 5.
Army's been a fun story to watch this year. You know, they've done some really fun things. They've gone up and down. They were ranked at one point, and then you'd never really want to bet on a team that's kind of coming into the championship limping their way in, right? They kind of just drag themselves in there one way at a time. So I'm going to go with Tulane in this one.
Yeah, here's how I'm approaching it. It's kind of similar. Tulane waxed Navy a couple weeks ago, so I have confidence they'll be okay in this matchup against Army. Despite their loss to Memphis last week, which knocked them out of the playoff hunt, I could see that maybe affecting them a little bit, knowing that they're not playing for the playoffs anymore, but I'm going to go with the Green Wave.
Well, the students are being very patriotic. They're taking the Army Black Knights. They think Army gets it done in a big upset over Tulane. So good for the students. I'm not going out on that limb. Give me Tulane.
Okay, they kind of had a formula for success, and then all of a sudden they've gone completely away from it here these last couple of weeks. I'm not going to give them any advice, though, so keep it going.
All right, who you got?
Oh, it's my turn. I got Tulane.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, you get to lead us off for the last one. This is the Mountain West. Boise State trying to punch their way into the college football playoff. They're a 4-point favorite over a Vegas team that has really been fun to follow this year. They've had some really fun games to play. I think this will be this is a Friday night game, by the way.
Yeah.
This will be entertaining.
Yeah, no, it sure is. And this was the hardest game for me to pick because I think it's a pretty evenly matched game. Like, I just don't have a great feel one way or the other. And so I'm glad I get to go first here. But I'm going to I think I'm going to go against the grain here. I assume that most everybody else is going to pick Boise State, so I'm going to go with UNLV and hope to pick up some points like I did in the first game. But, man, Ashton Genty is just a load to handle. So that's the part that makes me the most nervous. I think that UNLV, though, might be able to pull this off.
Students are with Boise, and Josh, you laid out a great case there. I also think that there's a lot of pressure on Boise.
Yeah.
And I think UNLV may kind of use that to their advantage. I smell an upset. Give me UNLV.
Well, listen, I thought I was going to be the only one out here on the limb because I think it's hard to beat a team twice, even though I picked Georgia earlier in this segment. I do think in a case like this, it's going to be hard for Boise State to beat UNLV twice. It was a close game the first time. And, Greg, as you mentioned, a lot of pressure on Boise State. So I'm going to go with the Rebels as well.
If this was in a neutral site, maybe. But this is in Boise. This is on the blue turf. This is everything, all for the marbles, playoffs, everything about it. I'm going Boise.
Okay. All right, we're house divided on that one. This is going to be fun. We got some shakeup on this one, gang. It's going to be good.
There's a lot of great
Always
matchups.
a great time.
You know, and this is kind of a good little pre-course to the college football playoff. There's still a lot on the line, which how many times can we say that? Have we been able to say that over the last few seasons? There's still a lot to try to figure out where teams are going bowl-wise, college football playoff, all of that. So a lot to play for here on this championship weekend.
Very good. Fun stuff right there. Guys, Jeremiah, enjoy the games over the weekend.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
There you go. Sports. Our Choices Treatment Center, if you or someone you know is struggling with problem gambling, free treatment is available right here in Nebraska. Call Choices 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300 for more information. Offices in Lincoln and Columbus. Back with more Sports Nightly next.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Looking for the ultimate sports watching experience? Head to Smash Park in La Vista, home of Husker Hangouts, Omaha's official watch parties. Your go-to spot for epic game day deals, delicious bites, and unbeatable fun. Catch every moment on our massive screens. Challenge friends to pickleball, axe throwing, and other games. Smash Park is where the action happens, whether you're cheering on the Huskers or just enjoying the atmosphere. Smash Park. Visit us today and turn your game day into a game night. Smash Park. Play, drink, eat.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Chris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Hello, Husker Nation. This is Lex Rodriguez, All-American Libero, serving UNACE on behalf of Noddle Companies based in Omaha, Nebraska. Noddle Companies is a full-service leader in commercial real estate, digging deep to create thriving communities like the Builders District, Exarban Village, and the contemporary row house townhomes. They bring world-class concepts in fashion, great eats, gorgeous homes, and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. To dig up more information, find them on Facebook and Instagram. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat Modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
We're back. Final few minutes of Sports Nightly here on a Thursday night. I mentioned going into the break, and I'll come back with the chat room picks, how they've been doing through their Week 14. Dryce went 8-2. Good job, Dryce. Gavin, well done. 7-3, Gav. Mike 7-3. Shane 7-3. Corn 6-4. Justin 6-4. Sandy, Joseph, Andy, all 6-4. Crypto 4-6. Season standings through Week 14. Shane 147, a 1-game lead on Joseph, 3-game lead on Andy, 5-game lead on Mike. 6-game lead on Corn. Justin is 8 back. Bryce is 13 back. Sandy is 14 back. Ethan is 15 back. And Crypto has been lapped by the field. So there's the chat room guys through week 14. They do a good job of monitoring and keeping themselves on the up and up. A couple of bizarre things I thought happened today in college football. UCLA parted ways with Eric Bieniemy today. And I really thought UCLA made nice progress as that year went on. Year one under that staff, year one under Bieniemy leading the offense for that staff. But they have cut Eric Bieniemy loose, and there are reports that they're going to go get the wide receivers coach from Indiana. So going and getting Kurt Cignetti's guy to come be the OC for UCLA. So surprised by that, because I really thought, we certainly saw it here, that was a good offense the day when UCLA came to Memorial Stadium. I thought they played much better, which you would expect, first year in a system, to get better as the offense went along. The other bizarre story, I don't know what to make of this. Bill Belichick has talked to North Carolina about their vacant job. Of course, they parted ways with Mac Brown. Good decision. Mac, I think it was at the end. But Belichick is 72 years old. And Mac Brown was 73. So there's a 1-year difference between the two. Do you really think Belichick wants to go get into the world of college football at this point in time? I don't know. I can't see it. I don't blame Carolina. Get a chance to go get maybe the greatest football coach of all time. If he'll talk to you, why not? Or maybe he has suggestions. Maybe he's like, yeah, I may not be the guy for you, but you might want to look at X or Y or something like that. But that was a bizarre headline I saw today. Tar Heels wrapped up a 6-6 campaign under Mac Brown. Going to go to a bowl game. Mac had 2 pretty good runs there. He was there before he went and took the Texas job, came back and kind of got Carolina relevant again on the college football scene. But I thought that was really weird. I thought it was a mistake when I saw Belichick's name listed as talking to Carolina about their vacant coaching job. It's interesting. Purdue is in the market for a head coach. Not a lot of chatter, really, about their opening, which I think it was the right move. Ryan Walters only got 2 years, but you could tell that thing was not going in the right direction. But we're kind of a week into this thing now, and no movement on the Purdue job. So that's the one job in the Big Ten that is currently open. Josh, is Victoria a Hallmark movie fan? Does she watch those?
She has. I think that's more of a thing that she'll do, like if she's with her family, like her mom and sisters and stuff. She hasn't really roped me into watching them necessarily, but she will watch them, I know. So,
well, last weekend they debuted a movie centered around the Kansas City Chiefs. It's called The Chiefs Love Story, and it debuted last Saturday night. It was the most watched show on cable, minus the Texas A&M football game that night. Drew almost 3 million viewers. It's called A Holiday Touchdown, a Chiefs Love Story. And I know you and I are Chiefs fans. A lot of people aren't, probably slamming their radio right now. But, I mean, the Chiefs are kind of the game, the team in the National Football League. And so the Hallmark Channel centered a storyline around the Kansas City Chiefs. So I know my wife watched it. She didn't catch the one Saturday night. She watched it. I think they had it on again last night. It was a good story. She thought the plot line was pretty good.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we want to check that out. I think that she would be interested. It is funny though. I feel like I heard about this like maybe a month or two ago, talking about it, and I could just imagine the reactions of all the non-Chiefs fans just rolling their eyes at something else.
Oh, there's no doubt
centering around the Chiefs. So, but yeah, we'll probably watch it.
Well, Detroit leads late first quarter on Green Bay 7-0 in the Thursday game. Purdue, Penn State has gone final on the hardwood. The Nittany Lions get a nice win to start league play. They win by 11, 81-70 over the Boilers. And so a nice start for Coach Hopkins in year 2 in Happy Valley there. All right, need to step aside, get a break in our final break. Back to wrap up tonight's show next.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're Bronco experts.
Goat Modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
We're back. Final segment of our Thursday show. Sports on again. No show tomorrow. Husker Volleyball, JB Lauren on the air with pregame at 6. Slated start time of 7. Now remember, there is a match at 4:30, South Dakota State and Miami. So if it goes 4, certainly if it goes 5, the Huskers will be backed up a little bit. But JB is the king of filling time, so he'll have no trouble doing that. So no show tomorrow night. Monday, we'll have another men's basketball show. Ernie Ziegler will be in studio in hour 1 for the Monday show. We will also know by Monday bowl destination for the Cornhuskers. We'll know the playoff teams that make the playoff for college football. So a lot's going to pop this weekend. So we'll have a lot to react to on Monday's program here on Sports Audio. Need to clean up some texts that came in during the show tonight. John in Omaha said, I'm thinking Dana Holgersen is going to be a good fit. What I do love is the lack of coach speak. He seems to tell it like it is. I think that's good for players as well. Let's go win a ball game. Go Big Red, John in Omaha. I agree. It's kind of refreshing when you hear a guy that's just kind of blunt about what he's thinking. I don't know that jives so much with head coach Matt Rule. That's really not his style to do that. But, you know, you got to let your coaches be themselves. And Dana certainly has, because he's been a head coach, I think you've got to give him a little leeway to say kind of what he wants. Tim in Minnesota said, I don't know what Holgersen would, if he would hit it off with Dr. Tom, but when Holgersen talked about emphasizing whatever aspect of the offense is needed to win a particular game, I recalled that Osborne was more than capable of willing to capitalize on Brooke Behringer's passing strings, even though Nebraska was mostly and primarily a running team. I especially remember Brooks' passing excellence in the 94 win over Colorado 24-7. Tom went through a lot of different styles as Nebraska's head coach. You go back to the 70s when you got Ferragamo and Hum. They were a pro-style passing team, really, and then they went more quarterback run game when Turner Gill arrived on campus in the early 80s. And then it kind of continued that way. I think Tom figured out the extra advantage with the men in the box having a quarterback that could run, and unaccounted for by the defense was an added weapon. So he never really went back to the pro-style offense that he had with Ferragamo and Hum. But people kind of forget about that era from like 75 to 81 where Nebraska threw the ball quite a bit. Wow, what a show. We packed a lot in there in the last 2 hours. Hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. Have a great weekend. Good weekend to get out and do some Christmas shopping. The weather temperature is going to be really, really nice over the weekend. Go Big Red for volleyball, basketball. Both men and women play conference games. Going to be a busy weekend. Thanks to Josh and all of you for listening. Have yourself a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series. Best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get holiday-ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9 for 60 plus 1,000 holiday cash plus no payments for up to 90 days on F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, tell me about Toyotathon.
Well, from now until January 6th is the perfect time to get a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Oh, how exciting! So what can you do in a new Toyota this holiday season?
With a new RAV4, you can go snowboarding with your friends.
I love dashing through the snow.
Take a Camry to a tree lighting ceremony.
Sounds merry and bright.
Or even load up the family in a Highlander to go ice skating.
What a jolly good time. So, Jan, got any red Tacomas? After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Florida? I'm there.
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Core and